breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty. Mornings on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
FM 710 KEEL. Mike and McCarty on the Jack Spring Electric Shreveport hotline. Newsmaker 101.7.
He's been drinking, Thomas.
Wow.
Close
Okay.
there, Mike. Close.
No more Jameson for me in my coffee. State Senator Thomas Presley joining us. Thomas, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are y'all? We're doing very well, thank you. I got to tell you, I love what you're doing. I love this idea. Your bill. Explain what your bill does, first of all.
Yeah, so we're talking about the bill that I've dropped and actually passed through the Senate yesterday, which will outlaw the World Health Organization, the United Nations, and the World Economic Forum from having the ability to affect law or taxes or mandates in the state of Louisiana. I believe that Louisiana elected us as members of the state legislature to make their laws for them. And we don't need to give that authority and power to an international organization.
Doesn't the Constitution already give us that authority?
Well, yes, it certainly does. And I think that, I want to make crystal clear for the courts and anyone out there that we have sovereignty in this state. I do believe that the Constitution, both on the national level and the state level, provides that. But I want to make it very clear to these international organizations, particularly after, some of the rulemaking that we saw, that they do not have the effect of law in the state of Louisiana without us making a determination, an act that allows, recommendations to move forward.
Your biggest,
just as any other organization.
The biggest mandate that they tried to push down, I guess, relates back to COVID stuff, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. They were trying to do a lot of international stuff, and you saw a lot of stuff on blogs and on the internet generally about what they were trying to do in other ways. And I think we want to just make, again, very, very clear to the public and to these organizations that we.
Uh-oh.
At the Capitol.
Your phone's goofing up.
We lost you for just a brief second.
Thomas, would this keep a governor who sees a World Health Organization mandate, would it keep a governor from implementing those? Because, we have a pretty strong governor in the state, and if we have a governor that, like we did a few months back, he might have said, hey, we need to implement these World Health Organization policies.
Look, we have the authority in the state, and the governor has the authority to make rules. Now, the state legislature has the ability to oversee those rules and to call them back or claw them back. And we certainly take that responsibility seriously. But that is not there's a difference there between a recommendation from one of these organizations, which, again, doesn't mean that we necessarily agree with or we're going to implement. But there's a difference there between the governor making an action or the legislature making an action and one of these international organizations trying to supersede our authority and act. And we were hearing more and more rumors about this, and I felt like we needed to quash it.
Unanimous support in the Senate. Kind of amazing. You expect it to kind of get pretty seriously passed in the House?
So this bill came up last year, a bill very similar to this that actually died in the House in Health and Welfare last year, and I think I've tried to explain exactly what I'm saying on the radio, which is these organizations can make all the recommendations in the world, but they do not have the effect of law. We get recommendations from folks all over the place, and we get recommendations from organizations all over the place. But they have to come to the legislature in order to pass laws and make laws. And we need to make sure that these, again, international organizations in particular, that have a lot of clout, a lot of authority, a lot of money worldwide, know that Louisiana is going to act for ourselves.
All right, let's shift gears a minute, because now I'm a little bit pibbed today.
Yeah, me too. I know where this is going.
Because of the Supreme Court district lines, Shreveport is going to be split in two. We will never have another state Supreme Court justice from Shreveport. The way it's drawn now looks like it, right?
Yeah, that's my view. Look, it was not from a lack of trying. I went to the floor. I questioned the bill author, which is Cleo Fields, who's likely to be one of our congressmen. If the court upholds that redistricting line, which I believe was also flawed in drawing, and I voted against. But we have a responsibility to allow people in the state to have an opportunity to elect the people they want to serve on our Supreme Court. Shreveport is divided in half, as you said, but really it's the north half and the south half, except for Line Avenue is a division line for one of the areas. So the eastern portion of South Shreveport is also in what will be District 4 of the Supreme Court, which is currently held by Justice McCallum over in Farmerville, which is close to Monroe. And the other district is likely to elect someone from the Lake Charles area. I don't think that is what's best for our region. I was very happy to see my colleagues on both sides of the aisle vote with me to try to amend the map and make Caddo Parish whole. But the line makes no sense. My parents live 2 blocks away from me in South Island. They're in one district. I'm in another. It's crazy.
So is this a done deal? Is there hope, or that we can reverse this?
This is virtually the same map. It's certainly the same map for our area as it was in the first and second special sessions. The map passed through the House with, I believe there are 5 votes against in the House the last 2 times that it's gone through. It's close to a done deal, though it is not done. And I encourage everyone to reach out to your House members and encourage them to encourage their colleagues throughout the state to join us in trying to make our region at least whole. I didn't like the map at all. And probably would have voted against regardless, but I certainly wanted to fix our area in Caddo Parish.
So nobody cares about gerrymandering then, which is all this is. It's exactly the definition of what gerrymandering is.
No, that's exactly right. And look, I went to the well. I talked about the traditional principles of redistricting, which includes compactness, the appearance of reasonableness. This map has absolutely no appearance of reasonableness. We divide the state in multiple ways, whether it be DOTD districts or LDH, the Department of Health, or the district, the circuit courts of appeal. None of these districts are drawn in a way that splits Caddo Parish and the city of Shreveport, the 3rd largest city in our state, in half. We, as we know, are often on an island in this state. With Caddo and Bossier Parish and Shreveport and Bossier City, often fighting for ourselves, and the fact that we will not have the opportunity to have anyone elected from our region is really disappointing.
Attorney General Liz Murrill told us on KEEL that she supported this map. I would assume the governor will sign it too. Is there a legal challenge ahead?
I think that's a great question, and I don't know the answer to that. Look, legal challenges are expensive, but I certainly believe that I laid the groundwork for looking at those traditional principles of redistricting during our debate yesterday. I know that someone on the House side will do the same, but I think it's really important that we voice our objections to these maps. Look, one person, one vote does not apply to the Supreme Court, meaning that the districts don't have to be identical in size or even all that close in size. Now, I think we need to redistrict from a population perspective because we have one district that is almost 400,000 people different than the largest and smallest is a 400,000 person gap. Right. In a state like Louisiana, we need to do something to address that. But this is not the answer. Gotcha. And I agree with you, Mike. I don't believe that gerrymandering, particularly for the purpose of race, is the right way to do it. And we certainly should be avoiding that in this building, though it seems to be more and more common on the redistricting maps.
Well, again, if it were from the right, then, they would be fighting it tooth and nail. But since the left is doing it, it's okay.
That's right. And I'll tell you this, too. I mean, look, I think that the Supreme Court, we're talking a lot about insurance rates and insurance reform. The Second Circuit in North Louisiana traditionally is more conservative when it comes to large jury verdicts than the Third Circuit down in Lake Charles. So all of this discussion on tort reform and trying to make sure that we are doing this in the right way and making sure that insurance companies can compete in Louisiana and will come to Louisiana and write policies, I think is up in the air as well when you're talking about a Supreme Court that potentially is going to be much more in favor of large jury verdicts. And that's concerning.
State Senator Thomas Presley, thank you for your time this morning. Keep doing God's work.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you, sir.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Michael Corbin, he's the Grand Poobah, the president of the DDA.
Chairman of the board.
That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be talking with us at 7:40. He got grilled in front of the Shreveport City Council. Hear what he has to say. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
We were captivated yesterday by this footage of the ship hitting the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And Aaron, as you're watching the ship approach the bridge, you can see the 18-wheelers coming across the bridge. Mm-hmm. You couldn't really see cars because that bridge is deceptively large.
Sure.
That video is obviously the camera is a good distance away.
You bet.
Because you don't really get a scale until you notice those 18-wheelers look so small. Mm-hmm. But as the ship got closer, because you couldn't tell the scale of how far the ship was from the pylon there, the 18-wheeler was going across. I'm like, oh my gosh, get over, yes. Keep going. But then you didn't see any traffic.
Right.
I heard the report this morning that police officers were paying attention and they called in to the headquarters and said, we're blocking this bridge. This ship is
out of
lost control.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And those police officers got on either side of the bridge, Aaron, and there was no traffic. They blocked traffic, so there were no cars or trucks on that bridge when the ship struck the bridge. Amazing.
The only people that were on the bridge were construction crews.
I think it was a 6-man crew. They were working potholes.
It was more than that because we've recovered 2, and they're still looking for 6.
Okay.
So you had one that was hurt, another that was not hurt much at all, and then you have 6 that are now presumed dead. Yeah. Just a tragic story for those folks. But like Matt told us yesterday that Baltimore, they do those construction work. They often do it in late night hours to avoid interrupting traffic. So they were up there doing some work on the bridge, filling potholes, I guess. And when this happened, and when you're on foot, you don't have time to get off the bridge. When
you're running. There's no way.
You wouldn't have made it. So such a tragedy. And they're still trying to find those bodies now.
But I just wanted to recognize those police officers that were paying attention and saw this coming, and that was just tremendous work on their part. No telling how many lives they saved.
Oh God, no kidding, no doubt about it.
With their efforts. Mm-hmm. Michael Corbin, he's the Frank Sinatra of the DDA, the chairman of the board. He's going to join us at 7:40. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Chairman of the board of the Downtown Development Authority, Michael Corbin, was in front of the Shreveport City Council yesterday. They're looking at widening the search to a nationwide search for a director of the DDA, and he got grilled by the council. We'll hear from him right after the break. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Now, breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
On the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. See, I do know how to.
There you go.
Chairman of the board, Frank Sinatra. of the DDA. Michael Corbin joining us. Michael, good morning.
Good morning. How is everybody today?
Well, can you sit down yet?
No.
After that butt chewing you got yesterday?
I had to buy new pants, and I'm still standing up.
You did good, by the way.
Well, I was having a great day, and I had a little break between meetings, and I thought, what if I just walked down the street and spent 20 minutes in front of the city council?
Let's see what happens.
You got grilled. They have concerns that, you haven't followed the process that the 13 applicants were told they would be followed up with, and they haven't been, and you haven't interviewed any of them. Have you guys done something you'd promised, or didn't do something you promised?
No. Now, with hindsight, would another email to the applicants to say, hey, we still have your application, we're working on the process, would that have been the right thing to do? Certainly, and we're going to address that in our DDA board meeting today. But this is a really slow time for the DDA. We have an excellent staff that's keeping the ball running. We have Jenny Landry in place as an interim director. She has served in that capacity multiple times before, and work's getting done. And actually, I think that this 2 or 3 month lag has really given the DDA board, the downtown stakeholders, and the elected officials who have asked questions a better idea of the direction we need to go, because we, as I said yesterday, and this is no dig on Miss Swain, who served faithfully, we don't necessarily need a clone. These are different times, a lot of things going on, and we're not going to have many more times to transform downtown.
Now, you said the lady that's filling in now is doing a great job. Could she be a possibility? Would she be interested in taking that position full time?
She did not submit an application for the job.
You are going to ask that the search be widened. Let me ask it in a two-part way. Is that because you don't think the 13 candidates that have applied meet the qualifications, or is it because you want to see if there's anything out there that is better with more experience?
The second. I want to see if there's anything out there, anybody out there currently working in a DDA environment with a proven track record. And look, this is, media has run stories on this since January. The DDA as an organization, the DDA board, and the chairman of the DDA board have never made a public statement or released a public statement that about the condition of the pool of resumes, qualifications, whether anyone is qualified or not. That's all come from outside sources.
We're talking with Michael Corbin, chairman of the DDA board. Michael, when you had Aaron, I just went completely blank.
I got a text from Senator Jenkins this morning urging the DDA to undertake a nationwide search, that we have to get it right this time because we have infrastructure dollars coming in that would be helpful to develop a business district, including residential, living, and entertainment, and we have to find a person who has experience. That's kind of exactly what you said, but you have the senator who represents that district urging you to do what you're going to do. Is that helpful? Will that be a help?
I received that same text. I believe it is helpful. It's disturbing to me that I believe there have been leaks from the board to elected officials and possibly to some of the applicant pool. That's just how it goes, but it bothers me. This is a HR matter. A lot of this needs to go on behind closed doors, and we open the doors when we get a candidate in. I probably stepped on some toes yesterday when I called out one of the council members who represents a very small portion of the DDA district and said, we'd love to have you come to a meeting because you've not attended one. And, I will say that Councilman Brooks has attended many of our meetings this year, and he's provided input, and that's great. But our function is to support things that are going on at the city, to support the stakeholders downtown, not to answer to the whims of the city council.
Michael, I've captured my fleeting thought. The talent pool of existing DDA directors or even DDA employees, when you open it across the country, is it still a relatively specialized and small talent pool?
Certainly. I mean, it's a very precise or very, very small group. That's why it's going to take the right search firm, and it's going to take most likely going and poaching somebody from an existing organization.
Right.
And we've said that from day one is our intention is to get the number 2 or number 3 person with a proven track record and see if they'd like to come to Shreveport and build their resume and be here for a period of time and help us on this journey forward.
But you said yesterday, too, which is real critical to this that people don't realize, if you apply for this job in Shreveport, your name's public. And if you don't get the job, guess what? Your existing job knows you're out hunting.
Exactly.
Can you do it differently through a search firm? Can that name remain anonymous until we get close toward the end?
There's a fine line there. And I've asked our legal counsel to help with that decision a little bit. I believe what's going on behind the scenes as a search firm is developing their talent pool, that would not necessarily be public information. Once that firm provides us with 1, 2, 3, ever how many names, I think at that point it's out in the public if the public wants it to be. I'm not sure how useful it has been for the media to run these names because it slants the process and it creates an idea, especially as each week passes, that the DDA is not taking action because they don't like either an individual on the list or they don't like the past performance or experience and how that may match up with the DDA.
Well, I can see where somebody wouldn't want their name published publicly or for applying for a new job.
Yeah, and I know of people who expressed interest when the job became vacant and had conversations with me, and I said, now, this can happen. Somebody can ask for the list of names at the cutoff date. Mm-hmm. And I know of multiple people who did not apply who could have been a good fit for this job.
Michael, one thing I don't think a lot of people understand about funding for the DDA. Tell us about how that's funded. It doesn't come directly from the city. Funds come from businesses. Explain how that works.
The DDA district is drawn out, and it is the central portion of downtown. There's fingers that go down toward Old City Hall on Texas Street and down Marshall Street. But those businesses have a separate property tax assessment they pay that funds the DDA, and that was about $730,000 in 2023. The DDA also has 2 contracts with the city, one for streetscape, and that contract employs 7 people, and that's to keep downtown clean, to do maintenance, small maintenance as needed on sidewalks, and keep downtown looking good. The city chose to contract with the DDA to do that because they did not have the resources to do it, and they felt it was a better deal to contract with the DDA. Okay,
go ahead. Sorry.
So the second contract is to enforce the city's parking ordinances. The DDA takes all kind of heat about giving tickets, but the city has contracted with us to enforce parking. Years ago, SPD did it. They had. We remember meter maids and the little 3-wheel motorcycle deals going around town. SPD couldn't keep up with that anymore, so they've contracted it out to the DDA. Another 7 employees are out enforcing the city's parking ordinance.
But you don't get any of that money, is that correct?
No.
Okay.
We get the contract money, but the revenue from parking goes back to the city.
So if somebody is not happy with your position, say somebody on the city council that's not happy with your selections or your decision to take this nationwide, they can't threaten to cut your funding, can they?
I don't see how they would do that.
They could pull that contract maybe, and they could clean downtown somewhere else, right?
Certainly. And at budget time this past year, there was a budget amendment to cut some of that funding, some of that contract funding. And I had a conversation with the council members who were supporting that. They understood. So I think it's unfortunate that we put threats out there of cutting budget to solve a problem that's not really a problem.
So when do we have a new director?
More on that soon.
Now, we know you're meeting today to discuss whether or not to expand. Do you think you're going to take that search nationwide?
Well, I hope that we do. It will be the will of the board. Certainly, as we've mentioned before, many of our downtown stakeholders who own property downtown and Senator Jenkins are in favor of a national search. And I want to be clear every time I speak about it. If that's the direction we go, that search firm will be handed every one of the 13 resumes of the folks who applied previously, and everybody's going to be in the mix for consideration.
All of the council members are welcome at your meeting today?
Certainly they are. And let me end with this. I might as well stir the pot a little bit more. I have a relationship with every one of the 7 council members. We have each other's cell phone numbers. We communicate frequently. Any one of the group who had so many questions yesterday could pick up the phone at any time and call and ask those same questions. Why it needed to play out in public, there's different theories on that. But I would certainly like to see us move forward, make progress, and everything not be some hidden conspiracy. We have opportunities to move our city forward. Let's do it.
They just wanted to see your cute face. That's what it was.
Well, I'm not sure if that was it, but
Michael Corbin, Executive Director or Chairman of the Board of the DDA Committee, thank you so much for your time this morning. Good luck, and good luck with your search.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Eclipse Talk coming up after the local news.
Back with McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Don't wear your sunglasses driving during the eclipse. It's going to be dark. Don't wear your eclipse glasses driving anywhere.
Yeah, please don't. And take the mask off while you're driving too, by the way.
Aaron, I'm afraid it all might be a moot point anyway.
If it's so cloudy, it doesn't look good.
The weather does not look good as far as viewing an eclipse. Any place along the route.
It doesn't look good. No,
Crystal Beecham is going to be joining us coming up just after the local news. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. .101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Mike and McCarty in studio. This is so much fun. Crystal Beauchamp.
No, Beecham.
I know.
I answered to both.
Crystal Beecham. How many times do you have to tell people the correct way to pronounce your name?
Daily.
Every day.
Depending on what part of the state you're from, I get a different pronunciation.
It's Beauchamp.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So it looks funny.
But you pronounce it Beecham.
My parents say I pronounce it wrong, and the P is silent, but I think I say Beecham.
Oh,
and there's a little P there. But
you have your geek dork pants on today.
I do, and I'm very excited.
I love this.
Crystal's the spokesperson for the Caddo Parish Commission.
Yeah, and I regularly harass her. Yes.
Doing her regular
That's my day job.
But you've got a really cool, fun job.
I have a cool volunteer side gig that I love very much. I'm a NASA solar system ambassador.
Oh my gosh.
And she's wearing this jacket, this white NASA jacket with your name on it.
You tried to steal it from her, but you won't fit in it for one.
I'm excited that we have a cold day and I actually get to wear it. So
that is so cool.
You are doing all this ambassador stuff regarding the eclipse.
Yes.
And I have a ton of questions.
Go for it.
I want to know, do I have to leave Shreveport to see it? I mean, we got this cone of totality, what the heck that means. Will I see it here?
So the cool thing is, pretty much everyone in this area or surrounding area in the United States will see some form of a solar eclipse. The path of totality is very narrow. We could get into science and talk about how that works, but
no, Crystal.
For the purposes of radio, the Arclitex is in a very cool spot that puts us path of totality adjacent. So while most of us won't see a complete total solar eclipse, most of us will see a very deep partial eclipse, meaning it's going to be over 90, the sun will be over 95, 97% covered. So it is the closest thing you can get to a total eclipse without it being a total eclipse. But there are parts and cities in our area, probably in your viewing area too, that will experience a total solar eclipse and like a 99% partial solar eclipse. So it will be cool.
It's basically going to get like dark. It's going to be nighttime for 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, so depending on where you are in the path of totality or how close you are, when the sun has its maximum coverage by the moon, the moon's max shadow, there is a period of time where it will get dark. And so if you're in the path of totality, that could be anywhere from a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. The maximum amount of time that the sun can be covered during a solar eclipse is 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Whoa. I don't think we're going to see that in our neck of the woods.
Okay.
But I think the folks that will experience a total eclipse probably will see about 3 to 4 minutes.
Now,
what's the time here?
So the eclipse itself will start around 12:25, 12:30. So that is when the moon will begin to move into the sun's orbit.
This is April 8th.
April 8th. You will see it with your approved viewing devices.
Yes.
We have official NASA glasses now.
Yes, you guys got some cool perks.
She brought swag.
But you will start to see this moon move into the sun's orbit, and you'll see that. But around 1:45-ish, wherever you are kind of in this area, will be your max area, your max coverage. And here, like I said, it's about 98% here in Shreveport, Bossier. That'll stay for a couple of minutes, and then the moon will begin its trajectory out.
So if it's, just saying, because the forecast now is calling for cloudy skies, if it is cloudy, we won't be able to see through the glasses, but it will still get dark, right?
It will, especially if you're in that path of totality, it will still get dark. But again, 98 and 99%, there will be some darkening in the sky. So I venture to say if you're in this area, it is still something cool that you want to make sure.
And this is Monday, the April 8th. It's in the middle of the school day.
Yes.
All kinds of schools, the libraries, I'm sure Cyport, everybody's going to have a program where kids are going to get to see something that's amazing.
So the cool thing about that is that solar eclipses don't happen in the exact same way or in the exact same spot. That happens roughly every 350 years. So we will not see the solar eclipse as it is here in this moment for, at least 350 years. Now, we'll have the opportunity to see another total solar eclipse, but that will not occur until August 2044.
Oh, boy.
So get your solar eclipse viewing in.
The path of totality will be different in 20...
So little science, not science. That path, the shadow that is cast by the moon is called the umbra. That allows for a total solar eclipse is a very narrow, in reality, a very narrow path. And so depending on the Earth's orbit, that determines where that umbra shadow is cast on the Earth. So it's different every time.
So we're real fortunate. We're very close in this area.
If it could have just eked over another 60 miles.
Now, this is really a rude question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I do that. Where are the geeks going to watch this? Where's Crystal Beecham going to see it?
So Crystal Beecham is headed to Mount Pleasant, Texas. It is one of the closest cities in East Texas where we will see totality. Honestly, the closest Naples. It's a little tiny town in East Texas. Naples, Texas is the closest that you can view. It's very short. It'll probably be a minute or two in totality, but that's the closest. But once you start getting there and eking over towards Mount Pleasant, Gladewater, Sulphur Springs, those kinds, you're in that path of totality.
But you can also go north, like
Texarkana, Broken Bow, all of those
Now,
places.
if it's cloudy in Mount Pleasant, where you're headed, do you change your...
No, Crystal will cry, but be thankful that she tried. Honestly, cloud cover-wise, if it's cloudy in Mount Pleasant, it's probably going to be cloudy elsewhere.
How far away would the geeks like Crystal Beecham go to see this? If Little Rock is clear, would you go to Little Rock?
Oh, the NASA geeks and the space geeks are looking at the path of totality and determining where there is the max amount of time of totality. So,
do you think somebody's making a plan to go, I'm following it? I'm starting at such and such,
I think it'd be
and
very
I'm
cool
going
to be
drive
on a plane.
all the way to the northeast.
If you're on a plane and it gets dark?
To be on a plane to follow, but I don't have those type of funds to rent a jet. So that plan was out. But yes, there are folks, and that's another thing, there are folks coming in from all over the United States into these smaller towns where the path of totality is. The majority of those towns that the path follows are like not metropolitan areas. They're smaller.
And those little Motel 6s are going to be booked up solid.
They were booked like a year or two ago. And, we're telling people if you go, make sure you have gas, take your own food.
My paycheck's here, by the way.
Now, where do we get the glasses?
So I always tell folks for free glasses, you can always check your local libraries, check science museums, places like that. I know a lot of those places have ordered limited batches or have limited batches. You still have time if you're an Amazon Prime fan. I saw some the other day in Home Depot, actually. Yeah. But there's still time. But I tell folks, you just have to be very careful of what you're buying. You have to make sure those glasses, when you see them, are AAS and ISO certified.
And that'll be on it.
It's very clear. Yeah, it's on the glasses that it might be on the inside of yours.
Okay.
There's like a little logo.
Yep.
And I tell people, when you hold the glasses up to the sun with no eclipse, you shouldn't be able to see anything. It should be dark. So I think you guys held it up to the light and
you can't see anything.
You can't see anything. That magic changes once the eclipse is in
so
full view.
If you hold it up to the sun, you can see the sun in the daylight.
Let me rephrase.
But that's all you can see.
But you will be able to see, it will be very clear, the moon's shadow covering parts of the sun.
Can you stay with us? Because I have some more detailed geek questions for you. Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
All right.
Crystal Beecham is joining us in studio, a NASA ambassador. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710keel.com.
Let's get back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Okay, we're in studio with Crystal Beecham, a NASA ambassador. First of all, tell me the full title of the NASA.
So it's NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory Solar System Ambassador. That's a mouthful.
How did you get this?
So
real quickly, because Aaron has questions.
Absolute luck and awesomeness. I participated. I love space. Always have. I participated in a couple of things that NASA had, put on, and then someone somewhere in the universe nominated me for this very cool program. And after a rigorous interview and all the things, I became a NASA Solar System Ambassador.
Did you go through training and all this?
So we're required, we do training every month. Most of it is virtual because obviously we're around the country, but we do training monthly, weekly. They offer things for us so we can know what to tell you guys.
Well, sign me up. I want a jacket too, first of all.
Yeah, and there's a jacket.
I got questions because I have a lot of people that are like, they're photographers or they're videographers, and they want to shoot it. They want to get pictures of it. Are there some tips for people that want pictures of it? You have to have special lenses. What do you got to do?
Yes. So they make special filters for your camera. They make special filters for your iPhone. The one thing I also want to stress to folks, your iPhone, your binoculars, all of your camera are not eclipse viewers. So if you're thinking you're going to hold your iPhone up, don't do that.
What's going to happen to my phone?
Your phone? I'm thinking about your eyes.
Oh.
It's not
so it's
safe.
Still not good.
It's just not good.
Okay.
What if I have the glasses on and I'm taking a picture with the iPhone? Is that okay?
That is safer. Yes, because you are protecting your eyes.
But will my iPhone pictures look good?
You may not be able to see it well in your iPhone because your glasses are on. But if you're going to do that, the important thing to note is if you are not in the path of totality during the moment of totality. Your glasses need to be on at all times.
Okay.
And put your phone down and just enjoy the moment.
Also, yes, I think
gosh.
it's a moment that you won't see at least until 2044 again. So take it all in.
That is just so incredible. And again, it's April 8th. It is the best viewing time for folks who are not going to make a little trip if we're going to stay in Shreveport.
Starts around 12:27. The max coverage in your area will be around 1:40, 1:45. It'll last a few minutes, and then you'll get to see the
And this is in the afternoon, not at night, right?
So
afternoon, lunchtime.
This is like a 2-hour.
That's a joke.
Yeah, 2-3 hour deal. Yes.
You didn't even laugh at my joke. I just said it's not nighttime. It's 12 in the afternoon. Come on.
I got her earlier this week. Isn't it amazing that these eclipses, aren't we lucky they happen during the day and not at night while we're asleep?
There's some cool ones that happen at night, too. They're called lunar eclipses.
Oh, yeah,
so,
you're right.
You know.
And for folks who are just getting on the train, they're just hearing all this. An eclipse is what? The sun moves in the pattern of the...
It is when an eclipse happens when any heavenly body moves into the path of another heavenly body. In the solar eclipse, it is when the moon moves in between the sun and the earth and casts a shadow on the earth.
And this is a total. There's a different one. There's a partial one, right?
The shadow the moon's in. The shadow that's cast determines what you get. If you're in the umbra part of the shadow, it's a total eclipse. If you're in the outer part of the shadow, which is called the penumbra, you get a partial eclipse. And if you're in the antumbra, which is the furthest away, you get an annular eclipse.
Now, a lunar eclipse, the Earth is between the sun and the moon.
Yes.
And you need special glasses to see that, right?
You do not, because it is at night and you're not staring directly at the sun. It is safe to stare at the moon.
He's such a dork.
Just making sure we clear that up.
I want to know, in 2040... Four is the next one.
August 2044.
Okay, here's a big question for you, Crystal Beecham.
Okay.
By 2044, we will have man living on the moon.
Or Mars.
Yes.
Yes.
What happens to them during a total eclipse?
You know, I don't know, to be honest. But
Do they have to go underground?
The next time I come
fried.
back, I will have an answer.
This is it's just incredible.
I will have an answer.
Yeah, do they get blown up? What happened?
Let's hope not.
Yeah, that would be weird, because we could have people living on the moon by then.
I firmly believe we will.
Did you ever used to take a magnifying glass to ants? That's what happens if you're on the moon.
No.
Yes,
I don't
you
torture
do.
cats either.
No.
So is Crystal going to go to the moon if they call you and say, hey, we're going to
Everyone that knows me knows I'm just waiting on the call or a check for $55 million to buy a seat. Either way, I'll take whichever one comes first.
You're jumping on that and you're going.
I'm going. Just to visit, though.
You're coming back.
I'm planning on returning.
I would go if they have a cure for motion sickness. Then I would go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not afraid of flying.
I think you forget all of that once you realize you're barreling 22,000 miles per hour strapped to 10.5 tons of explosives. I think you forget about the motion sickness.
And you're going to come back the Friday before the eclipse.
And give a last-minute update. Well, maybe we'll have a better weather update.
Yes, I'm hoping
because it changes.
It does change every day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get good news.
Fingers crossed.
Total eclipse, April 8th.
April 8th.
Best time to view.
Lunchtime. Plan your lunch around it.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a blast, literally.
Crystal Beecham, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
What a joy. I can't wait for this and
I know.
Thank you for our official NASA glasses.
Yes, that's awesome. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
And we'll see you the Friday before.
Yes.
All right. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM. Coming up, by the way, at 8:40, Sam Jenkins is going to join us talking about this DDA search for an executive director.
You bet.
He's got some pretty specific thoughts on the idea. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
More breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
State Senator Sam Jenkins going to be joining us on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline coming up just after the break, talking about his ideas for the search for the director of the Downtown Development Authority. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710KEEL.com.
Back to the big stories of the day with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
A On the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline this morning, Mike and McCarty.
Senator Sam Jenkins is stepping out of a meeting with the governor to join us. Holy cow.
Senator, good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Absolutely. Look, it's how important this is.
Mm-hmm.
You sent a message a little bit earlier with your thoughts concerning the search for the Downtown Development Authority director. You say they need to go nationwide and get the best qualified candidate. Tell us your thoughts, sir.
Absolutely. Look, the hiring of the next executive director is very critical, and it should not be taken lightly. I want the Downtown Development Authority Board and the City Council to work together and get this right. Yes, let's try to find the best talent that's out there, and I think a national search will allow us to do that. Now, having said that, I'm not wanting to exclude any local applicants, but if we go local, we need to make sure that that is coupled with a commitment that we're going to bring people on board with the professional skills it takes to develop a downtown business district, to make sure that there's residential living there, public safety issues that need to be addressed, as well as entertainment. So let's just get this right. Let's do it right. Let's all get on the same page and go in the right direction and do what is best for Shreveport.
But the truth, Senator Jenkins, is that the city council has no say in this. I mean, they don't have a vote. They don't approve. They don't confirm the DDA director, that they might be interfering and causing a kerfuffle when they shouldn't.
Well, I would say this. I think the city council, as a local governmental body, should weigh in to some extent, just to make sure that we are all on the same page. Now, downtown is in my Senate district. I'm also among the persons who can appoint someone to the board. So I have a concern also. Now, I have assurances now from the board members that I've had contact with that they're going to consider local. They're not excluding anybody. But I will say again, let's do what's best for Shreveport, expand to a national search, bring in people who know how to get this done. Our downtown in that Red River district are diamonds in the rough, and they're laying idle there much too long. And I want to make sure as we move forward that we're going in the right direction. I think that starts with having the right talent as an executive director.
I appreciate you saying that the downtown, the Red River district has so much potential that we're not tapping right now.
You're absolutely right. Look, there's a lot of money that's going to be coming through this state, and me and other members of the delegation are down here working. We want to make sure that some of these infrastructure dollars, development dollars, come into our area. And look, we have an opportunity now to address downtown and as well as the Red River Entertainment District, and to make it a central part of what attract people to our area. So let's just make sure that we're doing this right. I want to make sure that the professional skill set is there. That's the most important thing. Developing a downtown business district, developing the entertainment district is not a skill that I have, and it's not a skill that many people have. But there are people out there that do know how to do this. Let's not be afraid to go beyond our own borders, see what skill sets are out there. And if we bring somebody in, you got to pay them a competitive salary to keep them here, or attract them here and keep them here, to do the job that we really want to have done in our downtown area.
One problem, Senator Jenkins, and we're talking to Shreveport Senator Sam Jenkins, one problem is that if you apply for this job, your name is public. And if I'm working at, Little Rock Downtown Development Authority and I'm interested in the Shreveport job, I have to put my name out there. So my current job knows all about me hunting for a job. That's a big hurdle, don't you think?
Yeah, that could be a big hurdle now. And I don't know if I've got this right, but I'm thinking if they go with a search firm or a private search firm or someone like that, maybe that information doesn't necessarily have to go public immediately. But whatever steps can be taken, and I have no objection to whatever steps can be taken to protect those persons who are interested in the job until such time that they are hired, I support those ideas also.
There's a little bit of concern, and I know you're going to hear this because you're stepping out and getting involved, that this may be, he's got an axe to grind, he doesn't like Cedric Glover, or he doesn't like this candidate or whatever. That has nothing to do with why you're getting involved, correct?
No, look, downtown is in my Senate district. I'm amongst the appointing authorities for the board. I have a vested interest as an elected official to weigh in on what we're doing downtown and to make it well. Cedric Glover, former Representative Glover, former Mayor Glover, and I are friends. We were friends before we ran for the Senate. We are friends now. This has absolutely nothing to do with that. If we go local, and even if Cedric Glover is selected, I'm saying that needs to be coupled with a commitment to bring the professional skill set in, contractual-wise or otherwise, to make sure that we have someone who knows how to develop a downtown business district and a entertainment district. So I want to be clear about that. That has nothing to do with this.
Senator Jenkins, let me mention another thing that we really haven't talked about. We have had struggles in our downtown where some business owners are stepping over the edge and running other people off by some of the activities they do. That's your district? Do you think we have that under control now? Do you think we need to do still a better job at that? We want there to be entertainment, but we don't want it to disturb other people.
No, I agree. And that's why I said from the beginning, I think the city council as the governing authority there and the Downtown Development Authority, which represents a lot of the private interest that is going on in that area, need to work together to make sure that we're addressing any kind of public safety concerns, as well as, everybody being respectful of one another in downtown. Now, this concept works in other areas. I'm down in Baton Rouge all the time, and I'm telling you, the concept works very well if you have people at the table who know how to address those issues, how to implement policy, and how to make sure that we're on the same page when it comes to what we want downtown to be. Let's remove the confusion. Let's make up our mind what we want to see down there, and then go in that direction.
We're not reinventing the wheel. We can look at what other cities are doing successfully and model our approach on that.
Yeah, absolutely. They just brought in a new director, and they're working on implementing policies. They're looking at ordinances that may need to be imposed and different things like that. All of that comes to bear. But we need, at the center of this, an executive director for our Downtown Development Authority that understands that and is willing to bring on the professional skill sets we need, if the executive director himself or herself doesn't possess them, to bring on the skill set that we need to make the downtown and our Red River District something that can attract people, that will be safe, a place where people will want to live and go for entertainment, and, of course, conduct business. And that's my goal here. I have no axe to grind with anybody. There's nothing here insidious that I'm trying to do. As I said, I think it's very important for all of us to do what's right for Shreveport.
Senator Sam Jenkins, get back in there. Tell Jeff Landry we said hello.
Tell him hi.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it. In fact, I would do that right now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate your time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
My gosh, what a morning. What a morning.
Yeah, it's been a good day. It's been a good day. You know what? This person does not know I'm doing this today, and they probably wouldn't want me to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I think that, and if she's not listening, I'm sure, because she's got things going on in her life. But if you know my dear friend, Terry Netterville, she's American Mama on American Ground.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
She just lost her beloved mother last week.
Oh, okay.
And in circumstances that were like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. Well, now her oldest son Steele and his wife Tristan just welcomed their baby.
Yes.
And Ridge was born yesterday, and if you know Terry, she of course documents everything, and it is absolutely amazing. So I'm just congratulating her. She's a Grammy today. She's a grandma. What are they calling her? Go-Go, I think is what they're going to call her. I'm not sure, but I'm so thrilled for her.
And you can hear her on American Ground Radio. She's one of the American Mamas.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
That joined Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr 5 to 7 right here on KEEL.
I can't wait to hear her stories about now being a grandma. her and her hubby, Kevin, they are grandparents for the first time. They have 3 children of their own, hugely successful kids. And Steele is in medical school here and will be finishing and become a doctor, much like his father. And now Terry is going to be can you imagine having a better grandmother than Terry Netterville? Terry Netterville is your grandmother? For crying out loud, you got the grandmother lottery. Holy cow. Now she's going to film you. You're going to have a zillion pictures of you on, all over the place. But in terms of celebrating you and being there for you, I can't. There won't be a game that this kid will play that Terry's not going to be there.
Won't be documented.
Oh, absolutely. Right. So if you know Terry, shoot her a text or a message and congratulate her. She is a grandma today. Let me think of a really old What's the oldest grandma name you can call? Grammy.
Granny.
Mamaw. Mamaw Terry. How's that sound, Terry? Mamaw. She's not going to like that. So don't call her Mamaw, but I'm excited for her today. And if you know her and her family, please congratulate her. This is exciting news.
We got a message on the Shreveport Security Systems message board asking, where is our new sheriff? He is scheduled to join us coming up this Friday. Mm-hmm. So calm down.
Yep.
He'll be here in studio, I believe.
Yes, he's going to be in studio in the 7 o'clock
Friday morning,
hour.
7 o'clock, yes.
Yep, looking forward to a discussion. No holes barred. I mean, he said, whatever you got to ask me, throw it at me. He's ready to go. And he knows, that the powder puff questions aren't coming. He's got a job ahead. He doesn't take over till July 1st. But, we're looking at, if you've got questions for him, you can submit them now.
That's what I was going to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, submit them on the Shreveport Security Systems message board. It's a free download on the KEEL News app. That's how you get in touch with us. A lot of times we may read it on the air.
Yep.
And so get us your questions for Sheriff-elect Henry Whitehorn.
You bet.
Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, and on that free KEEL app.